You know that feeling when it seems like your body is trying to tell you something, but you can't quite figure out what it is? Well, today we're going to tune into those signals. We're going to uncover some really subtle but crucial health warnings that honestly a lot of us are missing. And believe me, that is not an exaggeration. This is a condition that's silent for so many people, which is exactly why getting a handle on the early signs is so incredibly important. It's a health conversation that's happening just below the surface. So let's just pause for a second and get real. Think about how you've been feeling lately. Is there some nagging symptom you've just been brushing off? We're about to put on our detective hats and investigate those very clues. Okay, let's start our investigation. We're going to break down 4 of the most common and often misinterpreted early warning signs your body might be sending out. All right, first up is a big one, that deep, persistent fatigue. And I'm not talking about just being tired after a long day. No, this is feeling completely drained even when you think you've gotten enough rest. It's that bone-deep exhaustion that sleep just doesn't seem to fix. So what's really going on here? Well, imagine your cells have these little doors for energy to get inside. When you have insulin resistance, those doors get kind of jammed. So even though there's plenty of fuel, that's glucose, floating around in your bloodstream, it can't actually get into the cells to power your body. And the result? It's basically a system-wide energy crisis. Okay, clue number 2, feeling constantly thirsty. Are you that person who's carrying a water bottle everywhere, chugging glass after glass, but you still feel parched? Yeah, this isn't just normal thirst. It's this feeling of dehydration that just will not go away. So why does this happen? The science behind it is actually pretty interesting. All that excess sugar in your blood acts like a sponge, and it literally pulls water out of your body's tissues. Your body senses this dehydration and sends this powerful "drink more water" signal to your brain, and that's what creates that unquenchable thirst. Now, this next clue is one you can actually see. It's the appearance of these dark, almost velvety patches of skin. You'll often find them in the folds of your body. Think your neck, your armpits, or your groin. The medical term for it is echinthsis nigricans. And this is a perfect example of how an issue on the inside can show up on the outside. Those high levels of insulin we've been talking about can act like a growth hormone for your skin cells, pretty much telling them to multiply way, way too fast. And this rapid growth is what creates those distinct, dark, thicker patches. Our final clue is a really frustrating one. Feeling hungry all the time, sometimes right after you've just finished a big meal. It's a super confusing signal from your body that can make you feel like your appetite is just completely out of control. And the crucial thing to understand here is that this isn't about willpower. It all goes back to those starving cells we mentioned. Even though you're eating, your cells aren't getting the fuel they need. So your brain interprets this as starvation and just floods your system with hunger hormones, demanding more food. It's a total vicious cycle. Okay, so we've looked at the clues, the fatigue, the thirst, the skin changes, and the hunger. Now let's connect all the dots and really look at the underlying cause that ties them all together, and that is insulin resistance. So in the simplest terms I can think of, insulin resistance is like having a major communication breakdown inside your body. Insulin is supposed to be the messenger that tells your cells, hey, open up for some fuel. But with insulin resistance, your cells have basically put their hands over their ears and stopped listening. Let's walk through this using the lock and key story, which makes it super clear. So first, you eat, and your food gets broken down into glucose. That's your fuel. Then, your pancreas releases insulin. That's the key. This key travels to all your cells to unlock them. But, and here's where the problem starts, with insulin resistance, the locks on your cells get all rusty and stubborn. The key doesn't work right. And the result? That glucose fuel can't get in, so it just builds up in your blood, which causes all the issues we've been talking about. Okay, now that we get the what and the why, let's move on to the most empowering part, the what now. This is all about the small, totally manageable steps you can take that can have a huge impact on your health. And look, this isn't about a complete life overhaul overnight. It's really about making smart, sustainable changes. Focusing on balanced meals helps keep your blood sugar stable, and getting some physical activity actually helps your cells become more sensitive to insulin again. It's kind of like polishing those rusty locks. And you should never, ever underestimate the power of good sleep, managing stress, and just drinking enough water. Let's look at a few really practical examples of what this looks like in action. You could swap a sugary cereal in the morning for some eggs, and that can help prevent that big blood sugar spike.
Or maybe you could trade some evening screen time for a short walk after dinner. That helps your body use up that glucose for energy. And honestly, just replacing sugary drinks with water is one of the most effective changes you can make.
All right, let's bring this all home and go over the key things to remember from our chat today. If you take away just one thing today, let it be this. Your body communicates with you. That nagging fatigue or that weird thirst isn't just something to ignore, it's a message. And by understanding the why behind it, insulin resistance, you gain the power to respond and take control of your health. So, I'm going to leave you with this question. It doesn't have to be some giant leap. Maybe it's just swapping one soda for a water. Maybe it's a 10-minute walk. What is one small, positive change you can commit to for your own well-being, starting right now? And finally, it is so important to remember that everything we've talked about here is for educational purposes. If you have any concerns about your health or any of the symptoms we discussed, please always talk to a qualified healthcare professional to get personalized advice.